So I'm just going to make a really quick video here to show a couple of updates to the little Midi sliders thing that I've been working on. Mainly just how you can change some of the settings that previously were harder to change. So here's the Midi slider. It's just a little MIDI controller, but the secret sauce is that if you hold buttons and move sliders, you can change parameters. And these could be mapped to anything in Ableton, or whatever your DAW is of choice. Let's look at some of the new settings here. You might want to change the mapping of the CC values, so what values are sent if the sliders are turned or moved, and if the buttons are held and the sliders are moved. So for each button slider combo, there's a different CC message that can be sent. And you might want to change the MIDI channel, what channel this is using to send messages. So I'm just going to pull over this MIDI monitor app and we can see what's going on now. And I'll move a slider or two. So we can see this is all sending on channel 2. And for the sliders, we're sending message 9 and 3 for those two that I moved. So let's say we want to change that. So basically you just open up Finder Explorer and you go and find the device. It kind of acts just like a USB drive. Find the file called ccvals.json and open it with any text editor. I already have it open in Thonny, which is what I've been using for some testing here, so I'll just open that. And you can see it's just some text. So the slider ccvals global. This determines which values are sent if you move the sliders without holding a button. So from before, you can see the 3 and the 9 was what we were sending, and then we were sending it on channel 2. Just a word of caution, none of this stuff is validated, so just make sure you use valid CC values and a valid MIDI channel from 1 to 16. And also just make sure you don't delete any commas or brackets or anything. So just to test this out, let's go ahead and change this to MIDI channel 1, and then we'll change some of these slider things too. Say 10 and 15. I'll save it. You should be able to unplug and plug in the device to restart it. And we will drag over this MIDI monitor app again, and let's see what we're getting now. Channel 1, great. And 15, and I guess whatever I chose for this is mapped to pan. So I guess another note is the default values that I chose were intentionally avoiding any of the standard CC messages for things like pan and mod wheel, things like that. So just be careful if that matters to you, or maybe that's what you want. But that's how you change things. Other thing that I wanted to go over was just how to update the firmware. So on my GitHub is where you will find the code for this project. And as we saw in Finder, this is just kind of a USB drive. You can see all the files right here. You don't have to like compile anything or do some fancy firmware loading process. So really you just download the files in the GitHub. You can download the zip file here. Open up the source folder, which should look a lot like what is on your device now, and copy and paste all this stuff over here. For convenience, I have this link that you can find in the comments. If you enter it in your browser, it will just download the source folder. So I downloaded that and opened it up, and you can see all the files. So here I'm not actually going to do it, but if I drop this in here, it will overwrite the files and update the firmware. And then you might have to restart it if it doesn't restart automatically, but that's all there is to it. Bye. Bye. Bye.